Hello everyone, I'm Meghan Sullivan and welcome to my impressions video for Diablo IV, a hack-and-slash action RPG developed and published by Blizzard. The footage you see here is for the PlayStation 5 version. So I just spent a day with Diablo IV and I have to tell you, pun intended, it was hella fun. Diablo IV, so far at least, delivers everything I want from a Diablo game. Fast, smooth, addictive combat, great visuals, fantastic voice acting, customization, and a chilling atmosphere. I haven't gotten that far in the story, so I can't really comment on that, but the characters at least are very interesting. And did I mention the combat is awesome? Because it is. If you're wondering whether or not this game is worth your time, hell yes, and let me tell you specifically why. Well, first, let me tell you what the game is all about. So in Diablo IV, you play as a wandering adventurer who gets caught in a snowstorm and essentially passes out. When you come to, you realize you should probably find someplace warm to stay and travel to a nearby village, where you end up saving the villagers from harm, and they treat you to a party. That's nice of them. Wait, no it's not. It turns out they're terrible people who want to kill you, but first they end up feeding you the blood of a demon that connects you to Lilith, daughter of Mephisto, who has been summoned back into the world of Sanctuary and immediately goes about convincing people that bludgeoning a priest to death and embracing sin is a really great idea. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to stop Lilith, and you're not the only one. There's a group called the Horadrim who wishes to protect the people from dark forces, although they're not doing such a great job apparently, and a fallen angel who is certain that if they're the one to defeat Lilith, they can go back to heaven. Never mind, this fallen angel had a kid with Lilith, but okay, whatever. By the way, some of these names are probably familiar to longtime Diablo fans. At any rate, you, the hero, must try to save the world from powerful, nefarious forces, and you can do so as one of 5 types of hero: Barbarian, Sorcerer, Druid, Rogue, or Necromancer, although in the early access beta, you can't be a Druid or a Necromancer just yet. Now FYI, this game is a giant open world experience, which means you can fight and explore with friends. Yes, it's an online game, but it's not an MMO and you don't have to play with other people. Despite seeing some friendly looking folks around, I spent the entire day playing solo, and since dungeons are separately instanced, meaning non-party players will not appear, you can play the game your way with no interference. And yes, in case you're wondering, I play games like Final Fantasy XIV pretty much on my own, although shout out to the Final Fantasy XIV community, they're a super cool group. At any rate, how was my time with Diablo IV? Smooth. Now, I've seen people on the internet say they've had a hard time getting into the game and staying in, and I'm not gonna lie, I think I've gotten really lucky. I signed in a little after 9 a.m. March 17th, 2023, and had no trouble whatsoever staying in the game until 4 p.m. the same day when I deliberately signed off so I could finally go get something to eat. I know, I'm weak. This was on the PlayStation 5, just so you know, and I have to say, I'm very impressed with the servers because they managed to be stable that entire time. The only real issue that stuck out to me was the fact that sometimes subtitles in cutscenes had a hard time keeping up with the voice dialogue, but that's an easy fix in the grand scheme of things. At any rate, before I even chose my vocation, I like that I was presented with a number of accessibility options. Now, I don't know if they're ideal per se, but it was nice to see these options are available to people. And I like that you can choose your difficulty level. Now, I admit in a fit of low confidence, I played a lot of the beta on easy mode, but it actually turned out to be too easy, so I actually ended up cranking things up to veteran, and even that was kind of easy. Even as a sorceress who didn't have a ton of armor, I didn't struggle too much. By the way, if you want a challenge or you need to catch your breath, you can change the difficulty level in the main town, just keep that in mind. And yes, I chose a sorceress for the flashy magic effects, and I have zero regrets. I cannot tell you how much fun it was to blast foes with fireballs, lightning, ice, and I could even summon a Hydra to help me take down foes faster. Now, because wizard types aren't the most physical, you'd think I was constantly getting chewed up and spat out, but my sorceress Liliana, yes, that's a nod to the popular Dragon Age character, was able to quickly dodge out of the way of incoming attacks and chug health potions whenever she needed them. And this is where I have to praise the game's UI and mechanics. The UI is so clean and easy to read. I know what every symbol and line and bar and box on the screen means, and I appreciate that. I also like that skill trees are easy to navigate. On top of that, the controls are mapped out in a super intuitive way, with swappable, rearrangeable spells assigned to either simple face buttons or shoulder buttons. Another thing I love is that there's no input lag, actions are almost immediate. At least they were for me. And the combat animation is really cool. And as mundane as this sounds, I love how the map is easy to read. That really helps with exploration. Oh, and not only do you have a mount, but there's a fast travel system. Huzzah! Because I hate backtracking. Which is why I also appreciate that if you die in battle, there's a nearby respawn point that prevents you from having to redo half a dungeon all over again. Did you hear that, Hollow Knight? In short, this game is about speed and convenience, but it can still be challenging, and it's important to watch your health, mana, and where enemies are placing their attack spells, etc, etc. By the way, if you're super hardcore, apparently you can turn on permadeath. Did you hear that, Fire Emblem fans? But maybe you don't want to die in battle over and over again. I mean, this is not a Soulsborne game. What's the best way to prevent falling in combat? Well, you'll be happy to hear it's exactly what you think. Collecting loot! Lots and lots of glorious loot! And this loot is color-coded for rarity, so you can see what's worth keeping and what can be sold for useful parts or money. What's worth keeping? Anything rare, of course, because rare items have cool stats and effects, and also if you upgrade them or enchant them, they get even more powerful. Yes, customization is a huge part of Diablo 4 as well, and you can craft and enhance armor and items and weapons and whatnot whenever you visit villages scattered around the map. So don't neglect the shops. Also, you can change your look at any time and store items in town, which is cool too. Man, I have to tell you, the endless gameplay loop of fast and fluid action being rewarded with heaps of treasure that you can customize is just so satisfying. Even if this game had no story whatsoever, I'd still play it just for the gameplay, which sounds obvious now that I said that, but I really do often play RPGs just for the story. And the story here does seem okay, but I'm much more interested in the characters, who by the way are voiced by some pretty talented people. Even the NPCs are pretty good. Speaking of NPCs, if you are in town and are looking for more loot and experience, don't forget to check out some of the side quests. The procedurally generated dungeons you're sent to explore can yield some seriously good stuff. And they're fun to traverse because you can climb and jump and duck and slide and I don't know, it's fun. If spooky. It's clear Blizzard is making an attempt to get back to Diablo's darker roots, because dungeons and even outdoor environments are really dark and creepy at times. Even the music, which is lovely, is kind of an eerie lovely. If you're playing this game at night, I suggest keeping the lights on. At any rate, those are my initial impressions of Diablo 4. Have you played the beta yet? Any plans to get the game? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you later.